A word you probably don't hear very often with Call of Duty: free. Turns out that's actually exactly what happened as of yesterday whenever Call of Duty Mobile launched for iOS and Android devices, or at least it should have. I know that there were some issues at the time of launch. When this goes up, it's a day later, but at the time of launch, there were some issues with the Android rollout, and so not everybody was able to get it immediately, but hopefully that's the case now where you can all jump on and play it. But it was a free access mobile game. Something for the first time Call of Duty really playing around with that free-to-play model, and it surprisingly brought a lot to the table. The power of Call of Duty, a lot of the best, all just in the palm of your hands for absolutely no entry barrier, or at least entry barrier in terms of cost. So today I wanted to take a look at and discuss kind of a little bit of a review of my time on COD Mobile so far. I can't really say that I invested die-hard amount of time within the last day here with this because, again, as we talked about the last two videos, I'm in the process of moving, but I got a little bit of hands-on time with it, so I wanted to give my thoughts and initial feedback here and let you know about this, whether it's something you should really try out or anything that you should maybe avoid. But anyways, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the game itself. It's free to play firstly, so all you gotta do is find it on your iOS app store or on the Android or Google Play app store, so you can jump on and take advantage of that for absolutely no charge. Now, hopefully the gameplay you're watching in the background is as smooth as it actually played. I was using some screen mirroring technology that I hadn't really ever done before, so hopefully the settings are good enough that it showcases what this is like in a more one-to-one sense. But when you played it on your phone, at least with what I had, I have the iPhone 10. It's not necessarily a very new one. It was one of the first iPhone 10s, so it's a year and a half, 2 years behind now at this point, but it still runs rather smoothly, and it's something that realistically you don't notice much in terms of any dropping of frames or lag or anything like that. But what you will notice, of course, is that it's going to eat up your battery. That's kind of a no-brainer. When you're playing a game that is as intensive as this, it's going to eat up the battery of anything. So you could have the most sophisticated battery life smartphone out there, but it is something that's still going to take a chunk out of that. The maps, the weapons, the modes, there's a ton on offer that you can end up playing around with. There's honestly a ton of features, which was kind of surprising to me, and how much was actually available from the start and the get-go here at this. And there's a lot of classic things you may have seen. Some of the weapons are classic, some of the characters, like Ghost is the main announcer type of thing, the UI that talks to you. So that's a cool little piece of COD history right there. There's honestly so much stuff here, and when you take a look at like the nitty-gritty stuff, the things you don't necessarily care about outside of gameplay but is awesome to see, is there's things like ranked matches, leaderboards, clans you can join, you can customize your loadout fully. There's multiplayer modes of frontline TDM, practice versus AI. There's domination unlocked at level 5. There's search and destroy unlocked at level 5. There's maps like standoff, kill house, nuketown, raid, crossfire, crash, hijacked, firing range, and takeoff. There's battle royale even, which is unlocked at level 7. Just thinking about the depth of that alone in a mobile game, there is honestly a ton to this that is going to be some hidden gems, I think, that for players that are just looking to kill time, it'll be great to take advantage of. And the nice part is that pretty much all of the controls around the menus, around the gameplay itself, it's relatively all pretty straightforward, pretty simple to use. It might take a little bit to end up getting adjusted to the movement and the mobility that you have whenever you're actually hands-on on your phone. I know that was one thing that was really messing me up a little bit. You'll see it in the gameplay, is that sometimes my aim was just atrocious because I was swiping a little too fast, I was swiping a little too slow. It was just kind of hard to find that sweet spot once you end up getting in the zone of everything and you start realizing, okay, I can aim down sight here and it will auto fire whenever I'm over somebody. Or if you end up figuring out, it took me the longest time to realize I had to press the button to jump to end up getting into a location that I could end up normally just jumping into. That kind of stuff, again, it takes some time, but once you end up learning it, it's a lot of fun. It's actually pretty good. Right now is probably the best time to jump on it because there's probably gonna be a massive influx of players, and a lot of these people don't exactly know what they're doing. At least from the games that I found, it was insanely easy. I couldn't tell you the last time that I ever played a mobile game really, and I was racking up 6, 7, 8 kill to death ratio games each time I played. So that's something that, of course, jump on, try it out for yourself. And while there are a lot of pros, of course, there are the cons that do come around with it. I don't want this to seem like it's just some bed of roses and it's absolutely fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it, because there are downsides, at least that I've seen so far from the little bit that I've played around with this. But one of those biggest things, firstly, being that if you want to do anything else with your phone, again, naturally, this is going to eat up your battery, so might not want to play it all that much. Another big thing that is just a trade-off of it being a free-to-play game is there is an absolute abundance of microtransaction content within the game. And I'm talking an absolute ton. The shop and the deals are something that is definitely heavily advertised here with this. You end up seeing that there is, whenever you even log in, a bunch of things that will showcase some of the deals for the battle pass, some of the Cod Point passes and things like that, but there's a ton of stuff that is prioritized in terms of that money-making factor. And like I said, that's to be expected with a free-to-play game, but the more you start to dig into the customization of things, the more you start to dig into the more so content aspect outside of the core gameplay, that's when you'll start to notice it an absolute ton. Is it something you can live without? Absolutely, but if you thought Black Ops 4 is bad, naturally this is going to be way more intensive in terms of trying to sell you stuff in-game while you play it. The one thing that I think it's a little too early to tell right now, but is definitely something I'd be fearful of in the future, is the fact that there are stat-changing variants. There are things that you can buy that do give a statistical advantage to your weapon. And granted, it's COD Mobile, so I'm personally not going to take this too seriously. I don't know if the next guy will, if he'll take it seriously or not, but I don't really care too much about that. But the principle of it, of course, is not trying to hide the pay-to-win aspect of that. You're gonna find some things at some point that definitively give you a better advantage than the guy you go up against. One thing outside of the microtransaction talk here, just shifting focus a little bit, is I'm curious to see, we don't have enough information just yet because it's still the initial launch. I'm curious what kind of connection and server system they're really working here with this. Personally, I have absolutely no insight on the development of mobile games or anything like that. I don't know too much in the technical aspect of it, but I was getting matched up with a lot of players who had their names written out in Mandarin and other Asian forms of writing. I don't know if that was people that were just using a different keyboard whenever they signed up and made their nickname, or if that's something that I was actually connecting with people from around the globe. If that was the case, well, the nice part is I didn't have too many connection issues to start, but we'll see how that holds up and how connection overall holds up since it's a global thing now. Now, a couple of big key talking points I think here for this overall is, one, it's free. That's the first time that we've really seen a free introduction globally. We had COD Online, but that was only for the Asian markets, unless you used a VPN and you could access the game from wherever you were using that VPN. But this is something that's the first introduction to Call of Duty as a free-to-play model. I'm curious to see what this will do and if it is something that sways the opinions of the shareholders at Activision, to see if we get more free-to-play projects coming up later on throughout the next couple of years. But it's free-to-play right now. There's absolutely no entry barrier. You should have populations of lobbies pretty quickly, jump into all that kind of stuff. And if you guys want to check it out, again, there's absolutely no charge against you for the time being. Another thing, though, that is interesting to me is the fact that, well, we actually have a huge battle pass with this, and it's got a free and a premium battle pass. Pretty much the entirety of this is a copy of Fortnite's model with it, almost to a T. I don't know if it's exactly the same. I haven't studied it one-to-one, and I really haven't checked out Fortnite stuff in a long while either. So, but it is what it was back a couple of months ago when it was first debuted, and this is honestly a system that I think works pretty well. I mean, it offers a lot of stuff. The premium pass is a couple of bucks. I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like 20 bucks or something like that. But you end up getting an entire season, which is I think around 55 to 60 days of extra loot that you'd end up getting for just playing the game. And of course, it's more than you get with the free battle pass, but it offers that option of the free battle pass as well, which is, thinking about it, something I'm kind of surprised that Black Ops 4 didn't do this year, where instead of giving us all those stickers and just a ultra weapon bribe at the end, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see a premium battle pass that you could add on to that season so you could actually get more stuff. So every 20 tiers, you got one of the new weapons or something like that. I honestly think that would have been a decent way to handle things outside of just putting everything in supply drops after Days of Summer. But there's a huge battle pass with a ton of stuff that you can earn here for this, and a system that works a little better than I think with what we had in Black Ops 4. There's also a ton of customization stuff. And again, taking the microtransaction portion out of it, not paying really much attention to the prices, because some of them do actually get absurd. The cool part is there's actually a ton of customization for pretty much everything. I mean, you have grenades and tacticals that have camos on them now too, which is taking it to the next level, of course, but cool to see. There's a lot of cool camos, I think, that follow a lot like CSGO, I think, with their skins. It's not anything that is super crazy or out there like a unicorn skin for the tactical GKS, but it is something that does have a little more color, does have a little bit more believable paint jobs, but are still out there as well. So it's cool that you end up seeing this kind of mixture of everything. And the nice part also with thinking about going towards earning that stuff, you can actually earn in-game currency. That's something we haven't seen since World War II. Black Ops 4 offered nothing like that, so that part's a win for me. The prices in terms of COD points, not so much. And also, talking about COD points, it's weird. It's like an inverse correlation of pricing to what you get this time around in this game. Whereas on consoles and PC, for all the previous mainstream Call of Duty titles, you end up getting sort of some deals with it. So I think for 20 bucks, you get 2,400 COD points or something like that. For this, though, $24 gets you 2,000 COD points. So 100 COD points doesn't equal $1, which is strange. And so that part is a little bit out there for me. Again, I'm not a huge fan of some of the pricing. The one skin I saw was 20,000 COD points. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, wait a second. That's 200 bucks for a skin in mobile? No way. That kind of stuff is a little out there. The skins themselves are pretty cool, but the final thing I want to talk about is something we might even end up seeing on console with Modern Warfare, given how Sony and Microsoft are banding together to make sure that loot box odds are showcased, but COD Mobile actually ends up showcasing exact probabilities of specific rewards. The one that I ended up finding for this screenshot you'll see on screen showcases uncommon, rare, and epic items, all within a crate, which, by the way, if you end up seeing you can buy some crates, it works very similarly to how CSGO's works, where it showcases everything you can get in that crate, but you only end up spinning one of those things, it looks like. But it showcases what odds you have exactly. So for this one, obviously you see 54.73% for uncommon. For rares, you have a 44.47% of drawing one. And for the epics, the things that are actually worthwhile, you have a 0.8%. So in that sense, it's something that gives you the entire data-driven information you need to make your decision of, maybe this isn't really worth it. I have a 1 in 100 chance of getting the item that I actually want, and therefore it fully puts that information on the player then, I think, which is something that definitely will help. I know that if I saw those odds, damn right I'm not buying any of those drops. So that's something that may be coming to console as well, and also something that apparently for the Asian markets, it's relatively normal as well based off their laws, but that made its way over into COD Mobile, which is a feature that I like as well. It showcases everything. But all in all, it's something that I think it's still a little bit in the honeymoon phase for me right now. I really enjoyed the gameplay that I played around with as of yesterday. I really enjoyed the customization on offer. I enjoyed the depth of the game with Battle Royale, with a bunch of different game modes and maps for MP. And there's going to be what seems like some sort of survival game mode coming later on. I loved all of that. The only thing that I get worried about is how much is the microtransactions going to get peddled. And I know that it's going to be way more than that of anything that we see in Black Ops 4 even, which is already the worst we've seen in the franchise on consoles because it's a free-to-play game. We'll have to see how that affects the game itself. Will people be more understanding of it because it's free-to-play? Will people kind of defect away and not really care too much about it because there's so much being peddled all at once? We'll have to wait and see, but it is something that for the time being, it's free. It doesn't cost you a single penny to jump on and try out, so why not? Give it a shot. Let me know what your thoughts are down there in the comment section down below, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty. Modern Warfare, we're gearing up for the launch of that, so hit that subscribe button if you guys are interested in any of that. If you guys want to see me do some Call of Duty mobile stuff as well, feel free to let me know. I'd love to jump on and do some stuff if you guys want to see some. That said, subscribe if you guys are new. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. I live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But other than that out of the way, thank you guys all so much for watching. Minus been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.